Okay, welcome everybody. I am Shawn Howton. I'm the faculty director of the Villanova Center, kind of the leader of the real estate program. This is Charles Davidson, who is our full-time faculty member. We call him a professor of practice. He's also had 25 plus years in the real estate industry. So I'm actually going to talk about the academic side of what we do in the real estate program, and Charlie's going to talk about the job side and see us build any of those jobs over his career. So tonight's agenda, I'm just going to talk about why real estate. So why should you think about real estate as a co-major? Why should you think about real estate as a career? So that's going to be the first thing I'm going to do. We'll talk about real advantages of doing real estate within VSB. The Villanova Center is probably the biggest advantage. We offer a lot of cool things, experiential opportunities that you can have in the real estate industry. So I'm going to talk about those and go quickly through the program requirements. You'll have to hit on those 100 times if you're get into the major stuff. But I'm going to talk about how we'd like to see you go through the program if you decide to. And then Charles is going to take over and talk about real estate jobs. And we'll talk a little bit more about the rest of our faculty. That's what we're going to do. So why real estate? I've been doing this since 2007. We founded the center in 2007. Daniel Villanova, who Charlie used to work for, gave us a generous gift to fund our center. And the first thing we decided to do is how do we use this gift to lever it to help Villanova Business School students have more opportunity. I'm a finance professor by trade. I've been here 17 years. And one of the things I was noticing at the time in 2006 and 7 was we just had a huge concentration in finance, and everybody wanted to go to the big New York banks, which is good. It's a great career, but there's just so many of those jobs, and that's a particular kind of job. And some of the students we have, I don't think necessarily are a great fit for that. So I view this as a great opportunity to help students have a different kind of opportunity. I didn't know anything about the real estate industry, in all honesty, so I learned about the real estate industry. And we've put everything you see up here together since then, a lot of it with Charlie's help. We have a director, Jessica Taylor, she's home with her 1-year-old. We have Tony Zaccardi's a business fellow. So we have a lot of great people in the real estate center, a huge advisory panel that's been great to us. The real estate experience that's gone into building this program is great. So why would you like to do this? One, and I get this all the time. I have students that are in investment banking that call me or talk to me or email me and say, even though I didn't go on the real estate track, which is one of the cool things about real estate, you get to do something else. So you can do finance and real estate or accounting and real estate or econ and real estate or marketing and real estate. And some of the students have chosen the finance path, but they'll call me and say, you know what, I learned more about finance in my real estate classes. This isn't anything about my finance colleagues, but than I did in my finance classes. And the reason is it's very applied. So you get to apply the things you learn across the business program to solve problems with real estate. Real estate's a really broad industry, it's really diverse, it's relationship based, so it allows you to bring the skill sets that I think Villanova students bring to the table all the time. Your social skills, your social awareness, your ability to interact and work in teams, those are all super positive things within the real estate industry. So we're finding the students we're graduating are a fantastic fit for real estate. So one of it is because our focus is so strongly on the applied side of things, taking theory to practice. Requires creative problem solvers. Your life in real estate, and Charlie can talk about it all night, I'm sure, will involve a lot of problems that you're going to have to solve creatively. You guys have been here since we've been trying to get dorms built across the street. That's kind of how real estate goes. It's, 1 year was going to be 2012, then 2013. You have to work with local government, you have to work with developers, you have to work with architects. So you have to work with different people across different walks of life and really use your creativity to solve problems. Sometimes you have to use your creativity to decide what kind of property type you want to build or buy, what kind of market you want to go into. So it really, once again, fits Villanova students that they're creative problem solving skills. It's a relationship business. I know you hear that all the time, but it really is a people business. And we work on that from the time you guys declare being a co-major. We will start putting you in front of real estate professionals and allowing you to start building your network, which is as important a thing as you can do in real estate, is build those networks. So this is a relationship business. You'll do business with people you meet here. We already have students. We have 5. This is our 5th graduating class of 16. We would have old students coming tonight, but they're at a happy hour downtown. There's about 20 of them down there that have graduated in the last few years. They're all doing deals together already. They call us all the time. Like, I was sitting on a deal today, and Lauren was across the table from me. It was really cool. So the relationships you build here, plus the ones you build as you meet our alumni and our external constituencies, really allow you to flourish. So it truly is a relationship business. Your word, your integrity, all go into building a good career in real estate. I know real estate sometimes gets a bad rap. rap, but if you get in the industry, you'll find out people have to have the highest integrity because you do repeated business all the time. So if you don't bring that to the table, which is another thing that we stress here, you're not going to be successful over a long career. You just won't be because people want to do business with you. So I think, once again, that fits our skill set. Good place to build wealth. Actually, it's a great place to build wealth. So I tell students when I have a shorter pitch, why do you want to be in real estate? Well, you can go fly on a Falcon like David Villanova does when he goes someplace. So I was at the University of North Carolina helping him do something once, and he asked me if I wanted to ride home. Like I might ask you guys if you wanted to ride over to the dorms. We drove out on the tarmac, jumped on. It's not his plane, it's his company's plane. I asked the pilot. If Dan calls you tomorrow and wants to go somewhere, what are you going to do? This? I'm going to go take him. I'm like, okay, so it's his plane. So you can build a lot of wealth. If you look at the top targets for development, the top people that graduated from Villanova, in VSB, in engineering, other places, the richest people we probably have, half of them built their wealth through real estate. It's just a great way to build wealth. It just is, undeniably. Not exclusively office jobs. You're likely to be wearing a pair of work boots and a hard hat as you are a suit and tie. You might be dealing with people that have their names on their pocket as opposed to, in a Wall Street office. So you will be in an office sometimes playing an analyst role, depending on what kind of job you do, but you also will be out on sites, looking at properties, touring properties. A term we use all the time is boots on the ground in real estate. To be a good real estate investor, you have to go and look at the real estate. Even with Google Maps, even with all the things you can do, real estate investors don't buy until they go see it. So you have to be involved in it. So it's not really, it's an office job sometimes, but it's not an office job all the time. So you get out of the office, you're with people, you're at dinners, you're building relationships. So it's different than a lot of the other jobs that you can get out of here. And even if you decide you don't want to do real estate as a career, it's a great investment. And you'll learn about it during your classes here for your own personal investing. And we have a lot of students that are doing that. They go through the real estate co-major, go get a job at, I know one that's at Johnson & Johnson, and go off and do deals on the side with either their classmates here or their parents, and are trying to build their own real estate portfolio, even though they have a job in accounting or finance or in corporate finance. So it's great either way. Thanks, Charlie. So advantages at VSB. What do we give to you in the real estate center? Why do we have a real estate center? So we have a director. Her focus, most of her job is helping students get jobs. We do a lot of other things. We do a lot of programming. She does all of that. But if you go to Jessica's office your sophomore or junior year, meet her and get her your resume. If you don't have a job in March of your senior year, she'll be on the phone, just calling people saying, hey, let's get this student's placed. We placed everybody but one student in all our classes that wanted a job in real estate, so, which I know everybody gets jobs in Villanova now, so I know that's not unique to real estate, but you will have people going to bat for you, so that's great. We have over 50 years of experience. Charlie doesn't look that old, I know, and Tony's a card. Tony has more, Tony's older, he's not here. 50 years of experience of the people that are teaching classes. That doesn't include me. It also doesn't include our accounting and our urban economics experts. So it's probably more like 100 years of experience if you add those people, because we also have industry experts in those classes. So you get taught real estate for real estate professionals, which is, for real estate, that's an important thing. You also get me, if you're a finance major, so you do get some academics, and I've tried to put myself out there to learn as much as I can about the industry. We're supported by an incredible alumni base. This is a alumni, student-driven thing. We wouldn't have a real estate co-major. We had students here that wanted it, and we had all these alumni that were in the industry, and they made it happen, which is kind of cool. It's great that our administration got out of the way and let it happen. That doesn't happen in a lot of schools, but our alumni are amazing. And you'll meet them in classes. We just had an advisory council meeting. I sat in Schwartzman's seat in the boardroom at Blackstone to have our advisory council meeting. If you guys don't know who he is, he made $4 billion each of the last 2 years as the CEO of Blackstone. One of the guys from Blackstone, the managing director of hospitality, was sitting to my left. And we had just titans of the real estate industry around the table. 5 of our students were there with us, so they got to meet all those guys, be in the Blackstone boardroom. So your chances to interact are incredible. We have a great young membership now. Our alums are in this market, in the New York market, some in the DC market. I'll talk about at the end. We're all over the country, so they're fun, and it's a family. They love each other. As soon as you come out, well, you don't have to come out. They'll welcome you in. You'll be part of the team. They're great people. They're a lot of fun. So it's a great group. We call it the Villanova Real Estate Family, and it's a fun thing to be a part of. We have a really active real estate society. Our leadership this year is great. So we go on, if they want to go on a trip somewhere, we give them a list of people that are Villanova alums, and we go. So we've been to the World Trade Center, we go on a New York trek every year, we do just lots of great things. And that leads into the experiential opportunities. So we have, so far we've had a New York City and a Philly excursion that were fantastic. We get on a bus, we drive around, we go to open job sites, we meet leaders across the industry. We are going to have a real estate immersion experience coming up in January for sophomores and juniors. That's a bigger thing. It's going to be 2 days in New York City. We're going to get you lodging. We're going to try to send 8 to 10 students to really go up and experience all aspects of the real estate industry. And the list of companies we're going to is kind of amazing. It's an amazing competition. We have case competitions. We have one. USC has one. Cornell has one that happens in New York City. And you can get an opportunity to be on one of those teams. We have won or placed over half the time since we started doing this, against 12 to 16 of the top schools in the country that are amazing. We keep doing it. We have a really good team this year again. It's a bonding experience. It's something you can talk about on interviews. You can make $5 grand if you win ours, 10 grand if you win Cornell's, where you get a fifth or a fourth or a sixth of that. So and you get to go to LA or New York, or if you do ours, you just have to stay here. But it's a great opportunity. So about half the students that do this, probably 10 to 12 students a year will get to do those case competitions. So those are some of the cool things that we do. I think that differentiate us a little from some of the other opportunities at Villanova, some of our competition. So what's our program look like? We have a minor. If I were you, we have so many students that think they're going to do the minor their senior year, and they take Charlie's class and they figure out, wait, I love real estate, and they have to try to squeeze a major in. We're really trying to get away from that because we like to have our co-majors get a lot of the classes their junior year, so we could get you great internships that can turn into jobs. So we're trying to get away from that. The minor is fine if you want a minor in real estate. If I were you and you think this sounds interesting, I would take Real Estate 3150, which is Charlie's class, as soon as you can. Even you could take it second semester sophomore year if you already had FMR. If you want to wait until your junior year because you don't really know, take it as soon as you can. That's my advice. Take that class. That leads in everything else. If you take it and love it, then you might know, wait, I want to do this as a co-major. Take it, it's like, that's not been interesting. It's a free elective, you don't have to take anything else. So you have to take that, you have to take real estate law, which is a business law class, 4150 for a core teaches that. And then and these are obviously econ, finance, and accounting classes, so you get a class in your major as well for the minor. For the co-major, which is really our focus, there's a couple of extra classes. So it's kind of the same thing, except you're going to take real estate law or real estate investments, and you really want to take that investments class as soon as you can. If you think this is what you want to do. Then you take real estate modeling, which is the other class Charlie teaches. So those classes kind of go together. We would love to have you have those 2 classes in your junior year, because if you have those, you can go do a lot of good work in your internship. You can really go work instead of just sitting around and getting coffee or something. And then our senior year capstone class is real estate development, which is what Tony Curry teaches, who has built a lot of buildings. You guys see when you're driving around this area, there's several million square feet of office and multifamily development in this market. So he is a developer, he teaches development, it's great. And then one of the electives, if you're a finance major, you take my class. If you're an accounting major, you take accounting for real estate, which is the recently retired head of real estate and head of taxation nationally for KPMG, teaches that class with 2 other KPMG partners. Urban economics is taught by David Forenza, who has done city planning for, I guess, 20 years or more. So he's really knows what he's talking about. So once again, we're going to get immersed with real estate experts. And I think that's going to lead into Charlie's spiel. And trade off this.
So good evening, everyone. Glad you could come out here tonight. I have been working in commercial real estate for 25 years, and I've been privileged to be exposed to just about every sector. I started off representing Dutch pension funds as lenders in Philadelphia. Worked for an investment management company, Equus Capital Partners, which is a major investment manager, private equity firm, and I've worked as a commercial real estate broker doing transactions. So I want to talk to you about sort of 3 general ways you can get into commercial real estate as a profession. One is working for an owner of real estate, and that would be like a private equity firm, or it would be like a real estate investment trust, which we call a REIT. It could be working for a lender, people who are going to loan money to people who are building or investing in real estate, or you can work for a service provider. When we have this broken out today, you can see different categories: development, investment manager, asset management, are all ownership kinds of functions. Brokerage is where you're representing a buyer or a seller or someone who wants to lease property, and you're helping make a transaction happen. And then there's other kinds of service industries: valuation, appraisal, finance, lending, and law. But what I want you to think about tonight is you can find a position in the ownership side, the lending side, or the service side. On the ownership side, you can be, the kinds of jobs that you would see posted would be jobs like an acquisition officer. You would go out and you'd be buying properties on behalf of an owner. You could be working as someone selling properties within that firm. You could be working as someone as placing debt in that firm on the ownership side, or you could be operating a property. What I like
when we talk about property, we're talking about large commercial properties throughout this. That's our focus throughout. So these aren't houses.
Right, thank you. That's very good. Step back. When we're talking about commercial real estate, what is this universe? We're talking about office buildings like One Liberty Place. We're talking about shopping centers like the King of Prussia Mall. We're talking about an Amazon distribution facility. So when you think about real estate, and I appreciate that clarification from Professor Howton, it's very easy to think about what you know, which is houses. We're thinking about very, very big office buildings. So what I like about real estate is it's interdisciplinary. So when you are managing a piece of real estate, you effectively are CEO for a little business that incorporates all the elements that I've been talking about. So it's a very challenging, very interdisciplinary, and we marry up with finance, with accounting, with management, with econ. Even technology comes into the real estate equation. So the kinds of skills that you need coming out of the program are, you're sitting with a team in an early real estate career. You're going to be looking at things like doing a lot of market research, analyzing the markets that you're in. You'll be doing a lot of financial analysis. And what will happen in your career is people will be looking at you and saying, hey, we really like what you've been able to do with the financial analysis. You've become an expert in a particular area, and people will look at you and say, we know what you're doing in terms of your analysis. Now we'd like to ask your opinion. You've gone from someone who's been really good technical person to a person who's getting known for their knowledge. Then you leverage your knowledge, you take your knowledge up, and you get known for the judgments that you make, and that's when you start to become a really valuable member of the team. So what I've seen with my students, and when I was doing this full time as a profession, the people that I hired, you get in and you become part of the team. And being part of that team, you would be asked to do numbers, as we call them. So you'd be running financial models and Excel spreadsheets. You'd be doing the market research, as I mentioned. You'd be helping put together pitch books and presentations. And you would be helping put together PowerPoints. So, and as Professor Howton mentioned, you would actually be accompanying people on property tours. So one of our recent grads, for example, went to Austin, Texas, and was part of the team that performed, and here's an expression I don't think you've heard before, but if you haven't, I'm going to tell it to you for the first time, due diligence, which is basically looking at a commercial real estate investment and saying, okay, here's everything that I understand about it. Let's take a closer look at it and make sure that we understand the financials and we understand who the tenants are and we understand what's happening in the market. But you're not in the office, you're actually out inspecting the property, talking with other people, other participants in the market. And that's all on the ownership side. But a lot of the things that I'm talking about, you'll also see on the lending side, because they've got to see when they're lending money to an owner, all the questions that an owner's asking, a lender's going to ask, but they're going to ask in more detail because they just can't get it wrong. So if you go into the lending industry, you're going to be looking at positions like loan officer or relationship managers. And then finally, I want to talk a little bit about brokerage. Brokerage is a great way to make a living if you like to bring people together, if you like to solve problems and look at complex transactions. And I've had the privilege in my career to be able to represent owners who are selling pieces of real estate. One of the deals I did locally was about a $70 million sale. And when you think about what is it like to be a career as a broker, you're basically solving this big problem of how can I present this asset to a buyer and anticipate and solve their problems as they're thinking about selling it. So if you like people, and if you like solving problems, and if you like taking a risk, brokerage is a great place for you. And I'll close just by mentioning a couple other professions that are up here. What is real estate appraisal? It's basically you're brought in, often by a lender, to help determine what the value of a property is. And the skill set you need there are typically very deep financial and market research skills, so economics and finance. And you'll offer an estimate of value, and you might be someone who's witnessed in a court of law. And so valuation is also a very valuable part of what we're doing in the commercial real estate industry. And finally, real estate law. Real estate, even though you can imagine it around us, is real estate. You stand on it, it's above you, it's around you. But real estate law is also a very document-intensive industry. And all the deals that we do have to be documented. So if I'm selling a property, I need to have an agreement of sale. If I'm financing a property, I need to have a mortgage, I need to have a note. If I'm leasing a property, we need to have commercial leases. And lawyers are there to help us, or if you go that path, you would be drafting documents, and that provides a very valuable function in the industry. So I think I'm going to stop there. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to talk with you both about my experience or things that you might be thinking about down the road. But I think that will complete our formal presentation.
We have like two more slides, and I'm not going to take the mic back. But we're very close. We won't leave much time for questions, and we have 3 in 5 minutes or so. 3 of our seniors who had internships and have jobs, I'm sure a few of them have jobs, are going to come in so they can also answer questions. If you have questions for us, you can ask them about this. But just faculty we have, and I already talked about this, Charlie and me, you met, Tony Zaccardi, 30 years of development experience, and then we have so if you have any questions of us, you can find us. I had contact info on here, but you can find me or Charlie. Jessica Taylor's on the 2nd floor in the Real Estate Center. You can email any of us. We're in all the time, and we're happy to talk to you about any questions you have. So if something comes up, all 3 of us are very open. Tony has another job, so he's not here all the time. Just some companies that we place people at, and this list is easily twice as big at this point, but these are some of the largest companies in this market. Owns many of the regional malls around here. If you're around here, you know them. If you're not, you would not know them. But your normal regional mall close to your house, they own those kind of malls. Brandywine Realty Trust is right down the road. That's Tony's company that he works for. They do office in this market, so if you go into Radnor, they own effectively every office building in Radnor. So they're a large company. Grosvenor is an investment company. CV Rich Ellis, JLL, and Legend Properties. They're all Cushman & Wakefield brokerage companies. Liberty owns the Comcast Center downtown, all the buildings in the Navy Yard. We have great relationships with all these. The CEO of all those companies have actually been on campus talking to our students at one point or another. So we have students at all. We have students have got every job that Charlie described. Since they've gotten out here, we have students at these companies, I think probably twice as many now. We placed 5 students in private equity firms, undergraduate students last year. There's MBA programs in the country that will be proud of that number. So you could get the jobs. People go to MBAs and get jobs if you're really good. You have to get an internship. You have to build your resume up. But you'll have the opportunity to get top-notch jobs. So we're working hard on that all the time. So I want to talk about that. Also, regionally, we have people in LA, Austin, Chicago, DC, New York, Boston, Philly, Miami. So those are the markets that we put people in. We have friends that have friends about anywhere you want to be. So if you want to be in Kansas City, Missouri, somehow we could probably scrape up a contact from Kansas City, Missouri, and at least get you in front of somebody there. We have multiple people in most of those markets. There's a couple in LA, a couple in Chicago. So we're building our brand out. We're still pretty young. It's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun. You can ask the students when they come in. In classes, we have a lot of fun. At our events, we have a lot of fun. Real estate, it's a fun group of people. It's people that like to work, but they also like to have fun. So it's not super serious. It's a lot of people that really love life and being around them. So it's been a great experience for me. So I would encourage all of you to at least think about it. And there's a lot of good opportunities here. So this just happens to be one of them. So I'm going to cut it off there. You can cut it off now.